Hey, I'm Austin. I've been a rowing coach for over 10 years, and in today's video, I'm going to be critiquing people's rowing form here on TikTok. Unsolicited advice, but hopefully advice that will help you with your own rowing technique. And if you want me to work with you one-on-one on your form, you can sign up for a form review down below. But we're going to get right into it. And again, hopefully get some gems for us to take with us so we can get the most out of our rowing journey. So starting with this first video, I really like the topic here. A really good interval rowing machine workout. 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy for 10 rounds. Hard to beat that. But you know what? They'd be getting a lot more out of this if they did a couple technique changes. So the main issue is actually not where most people have problems. Most people have problems in their rowing at the front end, but their front end actually looks really good. They're getting a really strong lean forward with the torso. The arms are fully straightened and reaching up and into the machine. The reason why that forward lean is so important is so that after we push our legs, we can get max power through the body swing as we lay back with a complementary angle. And while they're nailing that 11 o'clock lean forward, that 1 o'clock lay back is getting cut short. And the main reason why it's getting cut short is because when we press our legs, we want to make sure that we hold our legs flat as the handle pulls in without thinking about rushing up for the next stroke. We can see here that she rushes up for the next stroke by bending the knees as the handle gets pulled in. So the reminder for you is as you push your legs, hold your legs flat all the way until that handle comes in. Don't think about coming up for the next stroke. Think about finishing your current stroke. And yeah, here with her hands too, she should be gripping wider and she should be pulling in right below the bra strap, not down to the stomach. When you pull up to the bra, you're actually gonna get a little bit more length each stroke. You're gonna get more out of every repetition you take. The problem too with bending your legs as you pull in the handle is that you end up rainbowing the hands up and over on the return, which just isn't efficient when you start getting at really high rowing stroke rates. You can get away with it with a workout like this, like she is, but in general, again, hold the legs down, pull in below the chest. That would make this workout a hell of a lot better. Holy crap, look at this dude. He clearly has no idea what he's doing. Wow, and he has over 1,000 likes on this post with this awful form. So the main issue that is only allowing him, who's, by the way, a very fit guy, you can tell he's fit, strong, probably has good cardio, but he's probably getting maybe 30 to 40% of what he could be getting out of the rower every stroke because of his form issues. And the main issue here being that he's not leaning forward at all. Remember that when we row, we want our torso to lean forward at 11 o'clock, and then as we push and swing back, to lean back at 1 o'clock. He's essentially staying in this 1 o'clock layback position the entire time. So he's pushing his legs, but there's no swing to any of this. And it's the swing of the torso where peak power is generated each stroke. And even though he's all leg push and arm pull, he's not even getting the most out of the leg push because he's not even holding his legs down as he pulls in and finishes. He's pulling in down to the belly button, jutting his head forward, rounding his shoulders forward. This is really bad. The one coaching tip I would give him is to pause at the finish. Rather than just trying to think about rushing up for the next stroke, just to take one measly second and pause at the back end. Because if he pauses at the back end, that's gonna allow him to fully straighten his legs, to lean back and engage his core, to not jut his head forward, and to not round his shoulders forward. That rounded posture, which gets exaggerated when you're doing a workout with hundreds, if not thousands of rowing strokes, you can eliminate that by simply pausing at the back end. So if you feel like your form is all over the place like this, make sure you just start adding a 1 second pause at the back. It's gonna still be a great workout because guess what? Rowing is as hard as you make it. And if you drive back harder, it will feel more challenging. It's not about how many strokes you're taking. It's about how hard you're taking each stroke. Now, you might look at this rower bouncing and think, wow, that's so impressive. That rower is not bouncing because of how hard he's pulling. The rower is bouncing because he's pulling with his feet to come back up. And because he's so freaking huge, he's pulling himself up as hard and as fast as he can through the foot straps. And if you're somebody who pulls with their feet to get themselves back up, that's going to lead to pains in your shin and pains in your hip flexors as well. Part of the reason why people pull with their feet to come back up is because they cut the back end short. Notice right here, he's jutting his head forward, his torso is vertical, he's not getting the full layback. All he needs to do is add a pause at the finish to allow him to slow his brain down enough to hold the back end, to align your head with the rest of your torso, and then to sequence out on the return, arms, abs, then legs. And that's why one of the best things you can do to fix this is to row without strapping in your feet. I know that sounds crazy, but try it. A lot of pro rowers do this all the time to help reinforce good technique. Put your feet on top of the straps rather than strapping them down tightly, and then this would never happen. No matter how strong you are, you'll never bounce the rower like that. So, sorry, Eddie Hall, this isn't as cool as you might think it looks. Now, this kid has some pretty decent form, but he's making one mistake that a lot of people who know how to row make that's really holding them back. And that mistake is being scared to lock out your legs at the finish. Notice as he pulls in the handle, notice that his legs get almost all the way straight, but there's this hesitation to lock out the knees. It's important to remember that the rowing machine is not like a leg press. You know, if you're using a diagonal leg press and you lock out your knees and the weight's too much, yeah, your legs might bend the wrong way and you can end up in the hospital. But when you're rowing, the resistance is nothing when you fully extend your legs. When you lock out your knees, you're working your quadriceps more and you're getting more length out of each stroke. And rowing is a tall person sport. So if there's one piece of advice I would give him, it's to not be scared to lock out the knees. So as you work on your form, don't be afraid to lock out your knees. It's not going to hurt you at all. Oh, look at this guy. Now, this guy was a rower for University of Washington, one of the most prestigious rowing programs in the entire world. But wait a second, is that him lifting his heels? His knees are way over his toes. Isn't he over compressing? Here's the thing. Lifting your heels and bending your legs up all the way to where the seat hits your heels is bad only if you can't achieve a proper lean forward. But he is achieving the proper 1 o'clock lean forward that we want to see when we row. That lean, that hinge is priority number one. And if you can achieve that and hold it, you can bend your legs as much as you want. The problem is when most people try to bend their legs up all the way, their torsos get vertical. They can't hold that forward angle. They don't have the mobility to. So it's a good reminder for all of us that priority number one on the return is establishing that forward body lean. To get that lean nice and early. Arms out, use your abs, get the lean. And from there, you hold the lean and then bend up as much as you can. We also see a perfect example of the push, swing, pull that we want to see when we row. Pushing the legs while holding forward with the torso and then swinging through and pulling in the handle right below the chest. Okay, and here we have someone trying to row 500 meters in 2 minutes, 20 seconds or less. The biggest form tips that I would give her are to focus on her layback. You gotta lay back. You gotta get your shoulders behind your hips at the back end of the stroke because that hip power from swinging your torso back is where you're gonna find your fastest split per 500. This jutting forward of the head, this need to feel like you have to rush up for the next stroke is holding you back because you're not getting the most out of the back end. By adding in a 1 second pause at the finish position, even though that would slow down her stroke rate, she'd probably achieve that 220 faster and with less effort by just holding that layback. Because her front end looks really good. She's getting the lean forward, the reach of the arms, but the front end means nothing if you don't get that nice big full swing. Remember that rowing is a tall person sport. So no matter how tall you are, you got to row your height by swinging through and getting that really strong layback. Watch this. The arms straight out is not a good cue for teaching beginners how to row. Yes, the arms come out first, but you shouldn't be punching them out like this. You're going to carry way too much tension in your shoulders. Even this, when she's going continuously, keeping your hands high like that is going to fatigue your shoulders super early on. Instead of punching your arms out like this, let it still be arms first, but just relax your shoulders. Let the handle go down and out rather than punching straight out. It'll keep your shoulders more relaxed. Because on the return in rowing, there's no tension anyway. There's no need to carry tension anywhere in your body. except when you have to use your abs and hip flexors to lean yourself forward. But trust me, when your arms come out first, relax them down and out, and your rowing is going to feel a hell of a lot better. This is one of the most common mistakes people make when using the rowing machine, and that mistake is leaning back before pressing the legs. It's an issue that we call early layback, when your torso leans back before you've pressed your legs all the way. When you do this, you basically get no power from your hip swing because you're leaning early. When we row, the goal is to push our legs first while holding our torso forward. And it's after the legs press that we want to swing back with the body. And then at the very end, add in the arms. So don't think of rowing as a pull. Think of it as a leg push, body swing, then arm pull. Do not take the advice of adjust the foot plates and strap yourself in blindly like this guy's doing. When you put the strap across the middle of your shoe like this, it's setting you up for failure. And that's because when you put the strap across the middle of your shoe, it raises up your legs, making it really hard to lean forward without rounding your back like this. So instead of just strapping in blindly like he's doing, I would encourage you instead to adjust the foot plates down so that your feet are sitting as low as comfortably possible, the strap being closer to the top of your toes. Now, obviously, if you go down so far and your feet come out of the straps, that's not as low as comfortably possible. You're not comfortable, you're falling out of your straps. But when you bring those foot plates down, a little lower than you think, that brings your legs and knees down to make it easier to lean forward without your lower back rounding so much. And that's why you don't strap in like this. Now, there's a lot of rowing form to be covered still, but do you enjoy a video like this? If you want me to cover more rowing of random people on the internet, let me know. And again, sign up for a form review if you really want to work one-on-one with me to get your rowing perfect. I talk over it, I video analyze over it, I draw over it. But if you did enjoy, please let me know. Tell me your biggest takeaway and let me know what you want to see next. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.